All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings. To be honest with you guys, it kind of seems like the NFL media has completely forgotten about this 13-win team. This team won 13 games. Captain Kirk, you had Justin Jefferson have over 1,800 receiving yards, and their biggest addition of the offseason, Brian Flores, coming on over as defensive coordinator. Let me tell you, that's a big-ass deal, and nobody across the league is talking about it. Now, I'm a Packers fan. I understand the hype around the Bears. I certainly understand the hype around the Lions, but I don't get why everyone kind of just assumes that the Minnesota Vikings are going to steadily decline this upcoming season. People are like, oh, point differential. Oh, they won 13 games, but look at the point differential. Who gives a rat's ass, man? It's a point differential. They got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. There are going to be skewed games. Don't judge point differential as an indicator of a team's success for the or lack of success for the upcoming season. At the end of the day, here's the deal. You have Kirk Cousins. Now, realistically, the Kirk Cousins championship window, we got 1 or 2 years here, and that's perfectly fine because there's a lot of pop. There's a lot of zip on this Minnesota Vikings offense. And if there's one thing we know in the National Football League right now, it's an offensive-driven league. None of the last 5 Super Bowl champions have had a top 5 defense. But before we get any further into today's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Like I said, I am a Packers fan, but I do post a bunch of Vikings content. So let's try and get this video to 500 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. So as we were alluding to, you got Captain Kirk, right? Captain's coming off a good season. He's a good quarterback, right? So I got my quarterback all set. Alexander Madison comes on in as running back 1, right? Dalvin Cook, no more Dalvin Cook. The definition of Alexander Madison, when you Google his name, is this guy just needs a chance. Like literally, go Google Alexander Madison right now. The only thing that'll appear on Google is he just needs a shot. And that's exactly what he's getting this upcoming season. But they actually have a sneaky deep running back room with Ty Chandler and new addition Myles Gaskin. 2 years ago with Miami, he had over 600 rushing yards and he slated as RB3. So I like that move. A couple of days ago, they picked up Myles Gaskin. Now, here's the pop. Here's the zip. Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the National Football League. That's enough right there. You have the best receiver in the National Football League, and he's still freakishly young. He's 24 freaking years old, coming off a season with 1,800 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. Bang. All right. TJ Hawkinson, he just got paid. TJ absolutely killed it when he got to Minnesota. He only played 10 games, but he had 60 catches for 519 yards. At the end of the season, played 7 games for Detroit, 10 games for Minnesota, 86 catches, 914 yards. This is a 2-time Pro Bowler, and he's only been in the league for 4 seasons. TJ Hawkinson, I mean, we knew it was a huge deal when they made that addition last year via trade. I like Irv Smith Jr. He's now with the Cincinnati Bengals, but they needed some more pop. They needed some more breakout talent at that tight end position to just perfectly complement Justin Jefferson and add more elements to this offense. And then we come across new draft pick Jordan Addison. Now, Jordan Addison is a great prospect. In his final year at USC, 59 catches, 875 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He averaged 15 yards per catch. He's the definition of a playmaker. Literally the definition of a playmaker. The year before that, in his final season with Pitt, where Kenny Pickett was his quarterback, he had 100 catches, 1,600 yards, and 17 touchdowns. 17 touchdowns and 1,600 receiving yards for Jordan Addison. He is the perfect complementary piece for Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. And to be quite honest with you, it doesn't even end just there. KJ Osborne as wide receiver 3. He's only been in the league for 2 seasons. He had 650 receiving yards in his first 2 years and 12 total touchdowns. Like, this is a really sleepy sneaker wide receiver coming in at wide receiver number 3. I look at this wide receiver room: Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne, and then we get deeper: Alexander Madison, TJ Hawkinson. There's a lot of freaking pop on this offense. Offensively, they improved. I mean, they improved and they won 13 freaking games this past season. Offensively, they finished 8th, putting up 25 points per game. I expect that to be, 25 points per game is extremely impressive, but I expect that number to actually rise this upcoming season. So the question marks are going to come in defensively. They got ran over by the Giants in that postseason game where they lost. Saquon only ran like 9 times for 58 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones was scrambling all day. The run defense is a concern. The defense was a concern. The secondary specifically was a big concern for Minnesota this past season. What I think is going to happen with this Vikings defense with Brian Flores coming on over, I think they're going to just do a bend don't break philosophy for the first half of the season. I don't think the first half Minnesota Vikings defense statistically will be ranked wise that great. They're still going to get the job done. They're still going to get stops when they need to. This is still a 10 plus win team, regardless of how the defense starts. But by the end of the season, I expect, regardless of statistical rank, I expect that defense by the end of the season, once we get into playoff time, their defense will be firing on all cylinders. All right. I promise you that. And I look at guys coming on over to this team like Ivan Pace. One flaw, or I shouldn't even say flaw, one worry I have with Minnesota's defense is just hitting the quarterback. So I look at a guy like Ivan Pace Jr., All-American, undrafted. This is a guy in his final season with Cincinnati, 137 tackles. He's a linebacker. 21 and a half total tackles for loss. He had 10 sacks. This is a linebacker. This is a future potential star on the Minnesota Vikings defense that nobody freaking knows except for Vikings fans. Like, he killed it in his first 2 preseason games, and they didn't even need him to go for their final preseason finale. Like, they're like, yeah, he's got a roster spot. He's good to go. I cannot believe that all 32 teams did not draft this guy. Ivan Pace Jr. at linebacker is going to be a secret weapon for Minnesota. And I think by the end of the season, he will have a big time impact. And when we take a look at that linebacker room, I absolutely love their linebacker room, by the way. You got Hunter, you got Hicks, and now I've got Ivan Pace Jr., who adds versatility. You can put him in a bunch of different places on that linebacker. He's adding so much versatility to this defense. So yeah, is the defense going to be a top 5, top 10 elite defense? Most likely not, but I think their defense will be perfectly fine, especially by the end of the season. At the end of the day, the NFC North is still, it's I don't want to say it's weak because it's still NFC North football. And regardless of, if the Packers suck, if the Bears suck, they're still going to give you everything they have. But honestly, Detroit's getting all the hype. They're getting all the praise this past offseason. They are a team on the rise, but Minnesota just won 13 games. I guarantee you if they had, won that game against the Giants and then lost to, Philly in the second round, we'd probably be having a different conversation. Although realistically, if we're talking about NFL media, not really, because they don't seem to really care about Minnesota sports in general. But I look at this team and I covered them last season. Like they won 13 games. And I don't think that, the big challenge, the point differential, they won all these games by one score. Listen, they had a first-year head coach, and they won 13 games. They're going to ride that momentum into this upcoming season. It is a big year for Minnesota. It's not make or break necessarily, but it is big as Kirk Cousins continues to age, and you have Justin Jefferson at his disposal. Now you've got, TJ Hawkinson, you've got Jordan Addison. So it's a very interesting year for Minnesota. They're still going to win over 10 games. They're still a double-digit win squad for me. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Give me a win total projection for Minnesota. But as always, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.